that. Hey guys, if you are sick to death of hearts, you probably want to move on because we have one more project that I want to do with our leftovers from our heart project that we did. If you haven't seen any of the videos, the heart project I'm referring to is called Book of Hearts 2020. There's a playlist and it lists all the videos out. I still have leftover scraps from when we made our master board and used all the scraps for this little book here. And if you remember, I used this little box as a template to make these little hearts. What I want to do today is go ahead and decorate the box and make a little book to go inside because I want to re-gift this back to the person who gave me the candy. So how I'm going to do that is similar to what we did here. I can't use this box as a template for the actual book to go inside because it would make it too big. But inside the box is a little tiny piece of paper that covers your candy. That's the perfect size for my little template for my book. So that's what we're going to use for the template. I was thinking about using the actual box as a front and back cover, but I really want to leave the box intact and just put paper on it and maybe decorate the top a little bit so that it is apparent that it's actually the same box that the candy came in. But before I actually decorate my box, I'm going to take a piece of chipboard and I'm going to trace around this heart here and I'm going to trace around this heart here because I want to keep a template of these heart shapes because they really were cute and worked really well for our little book here, or this one did. I haven't used this yet. I think it'd be a cute size though, and I'll just keep it in my little box where I keep templates that I make or draw. That way if I ever want to make another book of hearts like this one, I have the template here already. And what I'm going to be using is leftover scraps from this project here. This is what's left of the lightweight papers. There's still some heavy stuff. I won't be using that. It's too heavy. And there's still fabric and trims, and that's over there. I won't be using that for the inside. I'm going to use as much of this as I can. And I might go through the box of stuff that's got our leftover stuff in it and see if there's anything else in there, like some stickers or something that I want to use. The paper I'm going to use to make our little master board is going to be a smaller size today. It came from the Strathmore Visual Journal, and it is a 9 by 12 inches, and it is 90 pounds. So I just tore a piece out. I'm just going to use Elmer's glue to apply it, just like we did the big master board, the huge one we did for this book, with a little sponge brush. Alright, here's what I pulled out of the box that we used through the project. And I might use a few of these on my master board. I don't know, so I just have them here just in case. I've got my heart template cut out. It is a little tiny bit bigger than the paper, but that's okay. I'm going to cut off the edge here because I don't need this. Alright, let's make our master board. And all I'm going to do is start gluing down pieces of my paper. Let's just start with this big piece of heart here. I'm just going to put my glue out, and you can water down your glue a little bit if you want to, make it go farther. But I don't see the point in doing that for this project, so I'm not going to. I'm going to glue down my little piece. I've got my card like the last time. And then I'm just going to fill out the rest of my page, and I'll do a little bit with you on camera. You've got the idea now, so I'm going to finish filling in the white gaps with my paper, and then I'm going to start adding some stickers and rub-ons and things, and I'll come back when I start that. Okay, I've got as much paper on there as I'm going to put on there. I still have this left over. I'm going to start adding a few stickers here and there. I think that's enough. I'm going to trim the edge. There's not much to trim. I did a pretty good job not going over too far. But I'm going to trim that up, and then I'm going to gather a few paint colors. Okay, I pulled out 4 colors. I'll tell you what they are. It doesn't really matter. Actually, I think it's best you just use colors you like. I found that in my experience it always works out better that way. But in case you want to know, this is a folk art patina. This one is Americana Cherry Red. This one is Delta Ceram Coat Magenta. And this is Deco Art African Violet. I'm going to start with the purple here. And I'm just going to mark in some areas here with my finger. And I'll have my card handy in case I want to move it around, which I think I will. Here's where we're at so far. Much smaller version of the big one we had. So I'm going to take a little gesso and I'm going to roll a little bit over my masterboard. I'm going to put it out on my mat so I don't cover too much. Just going to put my little roller in it, get it started, and just roll a little bit on my paper here. Okay, I'm going to dry this and I'll be back. We're going to do the next step with our Posca pen. This is black, it's a medium point, and I'm just going to write words around on my masterboard. In the areas that I didn't write a word, I'm just putting a few little marks here and there of the black pen, just so that I can kind of make sure every part that I cut out has a little black on it. So now our masterboard is complete, as far as I'm going to go with it anyway. And we're going to take our little template here, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to start tracing out my hearts. So I'm going to trace all over the back of the paper here and get as many of these little hearts in as I possibly can. Okay, I was able to get 8 hearts traced out. I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut out each of these shapes. I have all my hearts cut out and I had to test them with my box. They were a little too big. That's because when you make a template and you cut it out on the line, it's usually going to be a little bigger than the thing you're using to draw the template unless you draw it freehand and make it the exact size. So I had to cut them down just a little bit, but now they fit. So here's all our little hearts, and I want to cover the back. So I pulled a very thin piece of paper out of my papers. I'm going to turn the paper over, and I already measured out to see if I could fit all my hearts on here, and I can. So I'm just going to take my glue, put it on the back of my heart, and then stick it down on the paper and glue it down. And once all my hearts are glued down, cut all these hearts out, and then your hearts are going to be backed. Okay, I have all my hearts covered on the back now, as well as the front, and they still fit in my box. I made sure. And I also, off camera, went around the heart front and back with my Distress ink walnut stain. And hold on to your hat. We have more scraps. We can start a whole new masterboard. They just keep coming. They just keep coming. Okay, next step. I took my hearts and I set them all together like this, and then I decided where I wanted my holes to be, and I marked the first heart, and I took my hole punch and I punched a hole. Then I took this same heart and I used it for each other heart. I did not change hearts. I used the same one over and over for the template. I marked a spot where the next hole was going to go. So I laid it here, marked it, put it down. Picked up the next one, laid it here, marked it, put it down. Used the same one over and over. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish making the holes in my heart. Then we'll come back and I'll see what we're going to do, because I'm kind of curious. I'm not really sure how this is going to fit in there. With a ring, I don't think it will, so we may have to leave the ring off, but I'm going to try it and see what happens, but we'll do that when I come back. I am hoping that I can explain this to you, but I don't know it's going to be easy because I already did it, and I didn't think I'd like it, but I kind of do, and I don't want to take it apart. But the way I bound this was, at first I tried the ring. It wouldn't work. We knew it wouldn't work because you can't put a ring on the edge of something and then stick it in the box when it already fits the way it fits. So I went through and I looked for other things to use, and I found this little ring in this little container where I keep a few of my things you use to make jewelry, which I don't make. Very, very seldom have I made anything like that. But I have these little attachment things, and I thought they'd be cool for journaling. This ring was in this little container, and I don't know what it's called. Somebody will know. And what I did was I took a piece of hemp and I made it long enough to fold in half. So it was probably about this long, maybe 8 inches long, 10 inches long. You can trim it, so just cut it long enough to go through your book after you folded it. So after I folded it, I took the end, not the open end, but the folded end, and I stuck it through my hole, the little tiny hole, not the big hole, the little tiny hole, pulled it through, and then did like you do at the end of a tag, like this. Put my, here, I put my open strings back through the hole here, and I just wrapped it like that. So that's how it's attached to this ring right here. And then I put the 2 end pieces like this. I held them together and stuck it through each hole till I came to the back side. And then I left a little bit of a gap so that I could open my book like this to decorate it. It's knotted in the back, and it's just going to be loose like that. It's just kind of an oddball way to do it, but I liked it. We're leaving it. That's the way I'm going to go with it. Okay, I've got my words and phrases, and then I have 2 of these little tags. I used this in the last video. They're by Chili Beans, I think they're called notebook tags. I'm going to go ahead and find 2 little pieces of ribbon and attach it to these little tags here. Very fine ribbon, very thin ribbon, not something thick and bulky. And then I'm going to pick out my words and put those on my book. I found a couple of ribbons that I used on the end of my little tags here, and I just stapled them with my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. That's what this is right here. Okay, I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to apply all my words because it's just sticking stuff down, and I'm going to probably glue a little bit too, and I'm going to stick these on a page in between somewhere. Alrighty, I have all my words on, and I did go a little further without you guys, and I apologize for that, but I was testing out some things and I liked the way it looked, and it was so tiny, and messing with it tiny is not my thing, so I went ahead and just left it. But I'll tell you what I did. I took the letter M and I attached it to a little, I think it's called an eye hook or eye ring, and I attached it to this ring here, whatever that is. Her name starts with an M, so that's why I used that. And then I just took a little heart and a key and attached the 2 together, and then attached it to the ring. And then I just took 2 little pieces of ribbon, one's a little thicker, one's a little thinner, and just stuck it in the middle, and that way it kind of separates these and they fall on top of each other and all over the place. Then the book has all the little tags and words in it, and this one says, "There's nothing better than a friend unless it is a friend with chocolate." And I thought it was really suitable because this is what she gave me, some chocolate. And in the back, of course, you can put your photos or journaling or whatever. This says, "Dare to be different, happy, moment, to-do list, wake up and be awesome, in everything love, shine, believe." I have already distressed around the 2 tags. I'm going to go ahead and distress around the words as well. The same one I've been using, Distress Ink Walnut Stain, and I'm just going to go around this a little bit with my dauber. I pulled out these 2 pieces of scrap paper because I didn't want to use the one we had left over from the project. I didn't want to use a bright red, so I really like these 2 together, so I'm going to make this the front and back of my box here, and this might be a smaller heart on top, and we'll use this little piece here as a template to put on top. We'll see in a minute, but first what we're going to do is get our front and back put on. I want to make sure that I have enough room on my paper, so I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to get as close to the edge as I can, trace out my heart, and then I'm going to cut these out and glue them on the top and bottom. I'm not going to cut on the line because I need this to fit on top of the heart, so I'm going to cut a little bit inside the line, and if a little bit of this red shows, I'm going to be okay with that because I think it'll add a little bit to it, because I think I'm going to leave the edge here red. Not sure yet. Okay, that's the bottom. Okay, I'm going to cut these out. Okay, I have my hearts cut out, but I think I really wanted to leave the box as authentic as possible because, I don't know, I just wanted to, but I don't like this, so I think I'm going to paint the box white. I'm not going to open the box. I'm going to paint any at the inside. I'm not going to paint that. I want to leave that just like it is, so I'm going to leave the box together and just go around it like this. Okay, I've got 1 coat of the gesso around the edge, and I'm going to take the box apart so it doesn't seal shut. And then I'm just going to paint the top and the bottom. 1 coat, let that dry, and then I'll see what I want to do next. Okay, my boxes are still drying a little bit, but what I decided was, well, first of all, you don't have to cover the entire top of the box. I just wanted the edges to not be red, but I went ahead and covered the entire box. So when you put this back down, you don't see any red, but it's too white, and I knew it would be because the paper I'm using is a little bit, I don't know, muted and it's more vintage looking. So I'm going to take this color Folk Art Linen, and I'm going to go over the box now that the gesso's fairly dry. And once I get that done, I'll dry it. Then I'm going to put my box together and paint the edge. And then I'm going to let that dry, and then we'll come back. All right, my box is dry. The top and bottom are fine because you're going to cover most of that, but I still don't like the way it looks on the side as much, but I don't want to put any more paint. So what I'm going to do is take my Distress ink. It's the Walnut Stain. I'm going to put a little bit out on my mat here, and then I'm going to wet it down with my brush, and I'm just going to go around the edges and try to give this just a little distressed look. While that is drying, I'm going to take my little dauber here and just go around the edges of the heart. And while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and distress my hearts. Alright, I'm going to glue my heart paper on top of the heart box. I'm just going to use the Elmer's glue, and I'm going to make sure I've got the top to the top and the bottom to the bottom, just in case there's a little difference in the size. Stick that on top there. And I'm going to do the bottom. Alright, let's see what this looks like put together here. Not too bad. Kind of like it. Still not sure if I should have painted the edges. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find a trim that goes around the edge that I like. I found two that will work. There's probably more, but I stopped looking after I found these. I really like this, but it just doesn't... I think she might be a little more... I don't know. She's just a colorful, happy person, and I think this might suit her better. So I'm going to put this around. All I'm going to do is take my glue, and I'm going to start toward the bottom maybe. And I'm going to start gluing around and make sure I get into my crease and come back around. And when I get back around here on this other side, it's going to overlap it just a little bit so that it's not so noticeable. Okay, I've got my trim around and put little clips all around it. While that's still drying, I'm going to go ahead and take this little piece of paper that came in the candy box. They're the one that covers your candy. And I'm going to trace out two of those. Well, no, I'm just going to trace out one from this extra scrapbook paper that I pulled out. That'll kill some time while that's drying. I'm going to fold my paper in half, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out two at the same time because I may use one on the bottom. I am going to distress around these two, just so that they're already distressed in case I do use them the size they are. And if I cut one of them down, I'll distress the smaller size. Alrighty guys, I keep forgetting where I left off. I am so sorry. I am so distracted today with meetings that are going on downstairs, and it's just hard to film. I went ahead and cut out two more hearts using the template of the little piece of paper that goes over your chocolate, and put it in the top and the bottom of the box inside. And I wasn't going to do that, but I decided to do it. And then I think what I was going to do next was go ahead and do the back and the front. And I did decide to go ahead and leave my heart the same size as I cut it out and just go ahead and glue it on the back. So I'm going to get that glued on. So there's a heart on the back, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the heart on the front. And then I pulled out a piece of lace that I want to put on here. And I have a little heart that I cut out of some fabric scrap that we used in our project. You've seen this. And then I have a little flower, and I have two leaves that I'm going to put down. I think I might want one more little thing poking out, but I don't know what, so I'm just going to hold off for a minute and decide in a second. Here's what I decided for the back. I started off with a heart that I thought I might put on there, but I didn't like it, so I abandoned that. But I took a piece of book paper, I just tore that out, put my name on 2020, and I'm just going to put it right along the edge of the heart right there. There. I'm going to decide on poking something out of the edge here. It may be that I really want one of these little tags sticking in there. Let's see, let's just tear one off. Let me get a small one. Okay, I've got a small one here. Let's see how I like it. I kind of like it, but I don't know. I want this to show because I really like that. So that's my problem. It's like, where am I going to put it that won't cover something that I want to show? And I thought I'd stamp a word on it. And I like the string on it too. Let's stamp a word and just see what it looks like. I'm going to use Timber Brown Stays On ink for the stamping. And we'll do both of them just to see what we think. I like the word inspire for the big one. And for the little one, this one. Here's what I decided. I'm going to use the little tag. I'm going to stick it kind of under the flower here. And I'm going to tie it just enough to hide it. But I want the strings to stick out because I think it's really cute that way. Tie a knot. I like that. Okay, we're done. That's all I'm doing. I think that's really cute. And it really added something for me and I love it. Front and back, side. It gets opened. It's easy to pull out with this. Okay guys, thanks for being here. I will see you on the next project, which I don't know what it'll be. I can't decide on the 100 days. I still haven't decided, and I only have a few days to decide. It starts April 7th, and if I don't do the 100 days, I'll think of something else, but I really, really want to do the 100 days. I just don't know if I have the staying power for it right now. We'll see. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.